Slingshow is the simplest way to build a variety of interactive webinars and events where attendees are not just passive viewers, but active and engaged participants. Now, unlike other platforms, in Slingshow, we can do all the planning up front and plan out the entire attendee experience from the registration page to the emails, to the panels and the networking and the rooms, everything in just minutes. Now, let's say we're a community of startup founders and we want to plan out our next member event. We can get started by just adding a block to our schedule. So let's click add block to schedule, and you'll notice that there's a bunch of different blocks. There's a stage block, conversations, rooms, call to action, breakout, etc. Each block is essentially a different event format that we can add to our schedule to build out any event that we want. Now for this event, I want to start with some networking so that attendees can get to know each other before we move on to the panel that I've planned. And so for that, we're going to use our conversations block, which is essentially designed for attendees to move around and get to know each other. So let me click on it and let's call this networking. We'll set the duration for 15 minutes. This duration is just an approximate. You can always go under or over the time set here. The description looks good. We can set the conversation sizes to 4 and 5. And finally, we can add some topics and icebreakers so that attendees with similar interests and backgrounds can find each other. In our case, that's going to be the industry. So we're just going to call this B2B, and we'll add an icebreaker here, and I'll just quickly add a few more. Now that we have some topics and icebreakers, we can just go ahead and click Save Changes, and there you go, we have our first block. Next, I want to do a panel, so we're going to click Add Block, and we're going to add in a stage block. A stage block is essentially like a webinar, but way more interactive. So let's click on this, and let's name this Panel plus Q&A. The duration looks good for 30 minutes. And I can quickly go ahead and add our panelists. And during the event, I can just bring them up on stage, just like I would in real life. So let's quickly add them over here. Now that we've added our panelists, all I need to do is hit Save Changes, and there you go, we have our second block. I can always rearrange this by moving the blocks around, but I want to start with some networking, so we'll go back to the way it was. Now, I don't want to just end on a presentation. I want to end with something more interactive and intimate. So I'm going to add a rooms block, which is really good for more structured conversations, usually led by a moderator. In our case, it's going to be our panelists. So let's click the rooms block, and let's call this Meet the Panelists plus Workshops. Duration looks good, and we'll quickly add in our rooms. Our first room is going to be led by Darius, and it's going to be called Delighting Your Users. And we'll quickly add him as a moderator. And we'll go ahead and add another room, and this is going to be led by Vanessa, and it's going to be called How to Plan Your Roadmap. And we'll quickly add her also as a moderator. This is looking good. I can always add more rooms, but 2 is good for now because we have 2 panelists. So let's click Save Changes, and there you go, we have a third block. Now, I can always add more blocks. Maybe I want to do some more networking in the end, or maybe there's another presentation, or maybe I want to do rooms. But for our event, this is looking good. Now, if you take a look at the left-hand side, you'll see that there's essentially more things that we can edit. We can change, we can access the event, the description, the event image. We can also change the brand color, the logo. You can add registration questions. You can add partners. You can also connect Slingshow with your favorite tools using Zapier, or use our native integrations with HubSpot or Marketo. Now that we've created our schedule and put in some basic details, all I need to do is click Create Event. And that's it. We're done. It's really, really that simple to build out an event on Slingshow. Using your blocks, we've generated a stunning registration page and the entire attendee experience. All you have to do now is share this link with your audience, and that's it. So, just to recap, this block-based system allows you to build out a variety of interactive webinars and events in just minutes. There's so many possibilities with different combinations of blocks and also with new blocks on the way. If you're looking for some inspiration, I highly recommend checking out our templates page. Well, it's been awesome to show you how Slingshow works. Thank you so much for watching.